along with a good group of students. And Sahil, it's really been a privilege to talk to you again. Fine. You are one of the very great, hardworking and renowned and very famous alumni. I do want to mention that because many of our students who used to visit US, they can't stop themselves talking without you. Fine. So the whole kudos to you, dear. The way you help them out, the way you make them facilitate, we are really proud of you as our student.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I think so. I would like to congratulate my team of Synapse, our co-coordinator, Dr. Tirath Raj, me, our head of the department, Professor Sudhir Syal, and all the faculty members who will be joining today for this webinar. So I think so without taking much time, I will ask you to please continue with your today's webinar session, Sahil.
Sure. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the warm welcome. And I really appreciate the effort taken by the Synapse team. And definitely Synapse is like very close to my heart just because like, you know, I got a chance to meet a lot of cool professors and my cool seniors. So definitely Synapse is very special for me, and me being the coordinator once during my third year. So, I mean, yes. I definitely had an emotional touch with Synapse. So yeah, definitely thanks a lot, and kudos to Synapse team. I know that you guys have been organizing the webinar series, inviting all the alumni and connecting them with the juniors and with the professors. So great efforts. I mean, we never thought of doing this thing, so it's a great effort. And I mean, I personally want this to be more of an interactive session rather than, you know, me just talking and giving the knowledge, because I mean, these days internet is like pretty much full of all the details and everything. So I won't be giving all of those details again. Just one thing that I want to mention is that it's very important that, you know, if you are planning to make the decision of coming out to states or to anywhere abroad, it's very important that you know that what is your interest, like, because like a lot of my friends, they are doing like some fancy stuff like molecular technology and application development and things like that. But it's very important that what amazes you and what you want to be after, like 5 or 10 years down the line, because it's your precious time and it's your precious money that you're going to be spending when you're going to come abroad. So first of all, I mean, this is the best time since we all are in the lockdown phase and all the classes are online and everything. So it's a perfect time. It's a me time that you can just think of what's the perfect thing that you want to do. I mean, I wasn't that lucky enough to have that me time. I was in that rat race that after my bachelor's I need to find something so that I could be like doing something at least and keeping my life busy. So soon after my bachelor's, I came into University of Nebraska, Omaha, to do my master's. But then after my master's, I took a break. I wanted to explore what other options as a bioinformatician or as a biotechnologist I do have. So I had a chance to go into the job market and like do job and understand how actually these things come across whatever we do in the theory. I remember that, when I was doing my BTech, I had like tons of classes and I used to think like, what exactly do we do in actual life? I mean, we were taught Perl, and then we were taught drug designing, and I mean, all of those subjects were there. So I always used to wonder like, how exactly are these technologies or these techniques are being used in the real life. So that's when like, I took a break and I tried to understand like, okay, these are the things that's how it's actually used in the real life. And then I thought, okay, I probably need more experience and more ideas to like be what I want to be. So then that's when I switched to my PhD. So the crux is like take your time, try to understand what's your goal, what do you want to do. It's not just that just because US is a great place and you want to come over here. It's more like do you think that your dreams are met whenever you are coming out of India? Because I personally believe that there are at this present time there are like a lot of opportunities back in India as well. I'm not saying that India is not a place of opportunity, or US is only the place of opportunities. Definitely, both the places have its each pros and cons. So first, take your time, try to find out what is your interest. Is bioinformatics your domain? Is biotech is your domain? Is systems biology your domain? Is biochemistry a domain? So just try to refine your search and then move forward to look at the colleges, like, which colleges have to offer a better program, a better scholarship, and a better job opportunities, because there are like tons of universities that do not offer a part-time opportunity whenever you go for your masters. So then all of the financial burden falls on your shoulder, and then you have to take care of everything, uh, starting from the rent or the transportation and the fees and stuff like that. So try to refine the search of the universities based upon your selection of the domain or the area of interest. And then definitely, like, you can take the next steps. Those are the exams: GRE, TOEFL slash IELTS, and then, like, applying and stuff like that. I mean, that's a mechanical process, so I won't be going into that. But definitely, it's very important to make a choice beforehand, because once you decide to go into masters, then definitely the amount of choice that you have after your bachelor's is far more than what you have after your masters, and like it's way too less when you go for your PhD. So definitely you have to make sure that you take up appropriate decision at the very initial step. You can definitely reach out to your professors, your teachers, your seniors, just so that you have a better understanding of what's what. Because right now at this point, I mean, I'm telling my own story. When I was in my third year, I remember a team from University of Nebraska, Omaha, came in to do the a small interactive session, and everything amazed me. Like, if you would have given me an option to do a biochemistry, I would have, like, gone crazy behind that. I would have done biochemistry. But eventually I realized that biochemistry is not my forte, or that's not something that amazes me. So that's what, at each and every point, it's very important that you make an understanding of what exactly interests you. So that's one thing that I really wanted to convey to all the participants out there. And feel free to talk to the professors. I mean, Dr. Sood ma'am, Dr. Tiyat sir. I mean, those are, like, the great mentors. I personally used to discuss these things with Dr. Tiyat sir and Dr. Dipankar. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of him or not, but yeah, he was the coordinator of Synapse once, and I used to discuss each and everything with him. Like, even, like, okay, if I'm undertaking a project, I used to tell him that, okay, Dr. Dipankar, I'm planning to take up this project and stuff like that. So feel free to discuss with your mentors, because with your professors, because I mean, those are the people who can actually guide you in a far better way, rather than you trying to think, okay, this is the correct way, or that's the correct way. So yeah, don't feel shy, because when I was a student, I used to feel shy discussing these things, because I used to think that, okay, my professors are going to think that I'm asking some stupid questions. But trust me, there are no stupid questions. It's just that you have to be very frank and very open with your professors. That's definitely one key. And I mean, JP has a great set of professors, so I can bet on that, that whatever advice you're going to get from the professors are like really awesome. So feel free to discuss with the teachers, definitely, and the professors. The other thing is the part that actually nobody told me when I was my bachelor's. That's the resume part. So building up a resume is definitely a very important part whenever you are trying to apply abroad. Because so there are two factors that is very important whenever the abroad universities try to make the decision. First is resume, and the other is the statement of purpose. The statement of purpose is nothing that, but it describes you, like, who are you and what interests you to come to their university and to the masters, and how can you add the value to their university. So that's what is statement of purpose. But the other thing that actually plays a very important role is resume. So uh like, I mean, I'm pretty sure that I mean, internship is definitely one of the important part that our program have. And I remember that our professors used to suggest us that make sure that do the internship not because it's a part of a program, do it just so that you get an idea and an exposure, and you try to explore yourself. So whatever internships you're doing, whatever mini projects you're doing with the professors and with the mentors, uh, try to be proactive, because resume plays a very important role. Because if your resume doesn't actually have that content, so how are the foreign universities gonna make the decision on seeing your resume? Because uh, application is something that is very virtual, so your resume should speak about your skills. And with the skills, I don't mean that just push out everything, that okay, I know C, I know C++, I know Java, just because that is something I did in my first semester, second semester. No, it's fine in first semester. If you did C, that doesn't mean that in the fourth semester you would be knowing C or you are proficient with C. So include those skills on which you are really good. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, be proactive in the mini projects, in the thesis project, in the internships. It's not important that you do a paid internship. I mean, even the unpaid internships gives a lot of exposure. I mean, I remember when I was in my first year, so I started the internships soon after my second semester. I mean, I'm originally from Lucknow, so they were like there was this biotech park that was open in Lucknow, so they had this unpaid internship option. So I mean, I was definitely up for that. So that's just one thing, that be open to the opportunities, even if it's paid or unpaid, because those things really count on your resume. So try to build up your resume from the time when you think of going outside, because uh, like as I mentioned, there's nothing that you are going to come out and talk to the admission committee or something like that. It's just your resume and it's your statement of purpose. So your resume does say a lot of things. So you can go out to your professors, you can say that hello ma'am, hello sir, I'm interested in doing in some kind of a side project, so would you mind telling me something or designing something for me? And I mean, I'm pretty sure the professors are way too helpful to do that for you. So yeah, so that's the second point that I would like to mention, because I understood the importance of resume slash CV, I would say, when I came to do my master's over here. But definitely I would like to point out that thing, that make sure that you think in that way, that your resume is definitely your reflection. So that's the second point that I would like to mention. um I know it's pretty boring to hear out something that I've been telling about like for 15 minutes. So I would like to take a pause over here, and I would like to give the participants an opportunity to ask any questions if they have, because I can go for like 2 hours.
Sahil, so I think so we little bit mute our participants, but they keep on chatting on the chat box. So if
Yeah,
you can see that, that will there, but I'll keep on helping you out with the same. There is
sure,
a one
definitely.
question from Utkarsha. She has asked that how it is easy to move from industry to research or free from research to industry, and how it will make an impact. That is
Mhm.
my part. In deciding your career, whether would you like to stick with the industry or you need to go for the research? This is the
Sure.
major question people are asking nowadays, huh?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very valid question, and trust me, if you would have had this webinar like 6 months ago, I would have been at that point where I wouldn't have had a chance to answer this question, because definitely that's a very difficult choice to make. But I would say that it's easier to go from academia to the industry, because academia is like a local train, in which everything is going to be at a very slow pace. You have time to explore the things, do the literature review, and then come up with some ideas. But on the other hand, industry is like a Rajdhani Express. You don't have time. As soon as you step in, after like 3 weeks of the internal training, boom, you have to start working. You have to start applying your knowledge, whatever you have learned, and then they have sprints, they have releases and stuff like that. So industry is like way too fast. So switching from academia to industry is not going to be that of a big leap, but coming back from industry to research is definitely going to be a big leap, because I had a chance to work for like 3 years. So I was into that industry world. So I know, okay, every 2 weeks I need to make a progress. I need to release a product, or I need to give an update, just because I need to be at that pace. But coming back to research, it definitely it definitely made me to adjust my pace. So vice versa is definitely not easy, but it's always advisable to, like, go out in a real world and try to understand what exactly is good for you. Because see, I'll tell you, if I talk about bioinformatics is a way too vast field. You cannot say that, you cannot say that I'm a bioinformatician, because bioinformatician does like tons of things. There are specific things that might interest you. So now what I did when I came out from my master's, I did three different kind of roles. The first role that I was given an opportunity to work was a research um associate. So in that I was like completely again into the research field. That did not give me a drive. Then the second position was an application developer. In that I was working as a pure coder and using my biological information, but I wasn't doing any bioinformatics and bioinformatics work. And the third job was core bioinformatics that required more of coding. So I came to know that coding is definitely my forte. I like to do coding. I like Python, I like R. So I came to understand that, okay, what is my forte? I did not like data analysis. If you give me an RNA-seq data and if you ask me to go to an NCBI, get a data set and do data analysis, that is definitely not a driving force for me. So I realized this thing when I actually went out into the job market. So it is definitely very important to take a break from the academia, go out into the real world, just so that you know that whatever you have been studying or whatever you have been doing from past 4 years of your bachelor's and 2 years of master's, how can you actually use it. So that's the first recommendation. And everything is feasible. I mean, that's a myth that after working, doing a full-time job, it's very difficult to come back to the academia. I mean, it would take a month or two to adjust into that environment again, of that academia or of that study environment, but it's not difficult. And why I was saying that, if you would have asked me this question 6 months back, it would have been difficult for me to answer, because I had to take that hard step of switching my job and like coming down from my job and going into my PhD. Because PhD initial years, it's gonna be a coursework and it's gonna be a research. So it's not that that is going to get you some kick or something. So it's definitely gonna be the old school life that you have passed through. It is definitely feasible. So
Okay. There is another question, Sahil. They are asking that, sir, would you suggest for the undergraduates? I think so. You probably clear many things in your answer, but the students are asking, sir, what would you suggest for undergraduates to experience? They should go for industry first, or they should go for research after their tech? What would be your suggestion for them?
sure. So I mean, personally, what I would recommend is that before making any decisions of further studies, it's always better to have an idea what's going on, and what's the hot cake. So like I remember that our batchmates had a chance to go to an internship in Novozymes, and then they got an understanding that, okay, this is what the things are out there in the market, and this is what the biotechnologists, the bioinformatics people are required to do and perform. So take a break after the bachelor's, try to explore what's actually out there and what's required for you to do. Because I mean, there are like tons of bioinformaticians out there, but there should be some factor that might give you an edge over the other people who are doing the masters. So like, I mean, there has to be something that like let's say there is like a lot of dirt of people who actually do bioinformatics and public health. So this is something that I realized when I was out there. I realized that public health people are there, who wants to hire bioinformaticians like crazy. Because public health is something that you go out in the community, you get the data, and then do what? I mean, they do not have any idea for moving forward or what to do with that data. So then that's where the bioinformatician or the biotech comes into the picture, because we know how to give a design or an architect to the data and then come up to an analysis and then finally give a conclusion. So that is something that I realized when I was out there in the industry. So definitely after the bachelor's, take a break, do an internship. It doesn't matter that if you do a paid or an unpaid internship, just do an internship, be out there in the market, try to talk and interact with people, because then that's how you're going to get the actual exposure. So definitely, having some kind of exposure before deciding for the masters or PhD is definitely worth it.
Sahil, another question, because as from our previous speakers, which we have in the series, they always suggested our students that you should not stick with the one core field. One should be having a multidisciplinary aspects in their profile. Fine, like if biotechnology students are there, they should opt for bioinformatics tool, computer-based tools. I think so. Would you also agree with the same point? Because we are too making our students to follow those very suggestions very, very strictly and strongly, because in the present moment of time also, I think so, they should be well equipped themselves with all bioinformatical tools, computer-based tools, if they are biotechnologists, and if they are bioinformatics, vice versa.
Exactly.
So what is your line of search for
I
that?
would definitely agree to that. And I still remember it was the first year for us. And I guess our HOD, he did inform that, you know, if you are a bioinformatics student, try to find the internship in the biotech field. And if you are a biotech student, try to find the internship in the bioinformatics field. Definitely, it's way too advantageous to be interdisciplinary. And I'll give you a real life scenario. So let's say that, you know, you have a company of your own, or you have a pharma company or an R&D company, or any kind of a business. So whom would you prefer? So like, let's say you have a budget of 10 rupees. So now would you prefer a person who knows wet lab techniques and the bioinformatics technique to hire him at 8 rupees? That would be a win-win situation. Or would you prefer to hire a computer person for 5 rupees and then hire a biotechnologist for 5 rupees? No, you're not going to do that. So definitely it's very important to be interdisciplinary. If you're a biotechnologist, just don't think that, you know, I cannot deal with computers. And there's one thing that I actually want to like bring this up, that bioinformatics is never about coding. Bioinformatics is not coding. This is one thing that students, and I mean including me, I used to think that bioinformatics is only coding. No, for computer science, it's only coding. For bioinformatics, if you don't like coding, don't do coding. You can do data analysis. There are like tons of publicly available databases, publicly available tools that you can use and do the data analysis. If you don't like data analysis, that's fine. You could develop a tool. If you don't like coding, there is like X thing, then there's a Y thing. So bioinformatics itself is like a way broader thing. So there's this a preconceived notion that, you know, bioinformatics means that you should know coding. No. So don't get scared from bioinformatics. Try to explore that part of the area as well if you're a biotechnologist. And for the bioinformaticians, don't think that biotechnology people are doing something that, you know, they use pipette and then they use test tubes and things like that. I mean, they do a great job, because if they don't generate our data, then we cannot analyze it. So it's like, you know, a symbiotic relationship between a biotechnologist and a bioinformatics. So try to explore both the worlds. You never know that, you know, you being a bioinformatics student might have an interest in the biotechnology field. You like wet lab more than a dry lab. It could happen. So keep all the doors open until unless you make a final decision that, okay, you are good with this specific stuff. So definitely I agree with that point.
I think so, Sahil. Now I make the
Okay,
platform open
okay,
for other
Sahil.
faculties also. Sir, please do ask
Yeah,
questions.
Yes,
Sahil.
sir.
Okay, Sahil. Thank you very much for the very fruitful
Thank you,
information
sir.
to the
Thank you,
participants.
sir.
I am sure they will get motivated from your speech also.
Thank you, sir.
Now, I would like to add few points over there. Like definitely coding is not the exact domain of bioinformatics only, because if you want to be a core coding person, then that is a separate domain for either computational biologist or computer science people.
Yeah.
But data analysis nowadays is an important part actually. Data mining, you know, we are doing because data is available in huge chunks all over the world. So data mining, data analysis is definitely very important part. And with the introduction of big data, and healthcare sector is having like trillions of uh, amount of data day by day. They are getting it in their storage devices, but thing is that how we are going to analyze
True.
it. So that part is really important. And as you told, uh, I just want to mention though over here, statistics is really important. If you are having a background in statistics or you are good in stats, that will help you to enhance your capabilities.
Completely agree.
I just want to ask you one thing over here. You know, you were in Pine Biotech.
Yeah.
So I will be happy if you can share your experience with our students also, your experience with the industry, and if there are any opportunities our students can also join over there or such kind of industries?
Sure.
Please share.
Sure, definitely. Yeah, as Dr. Tira sir mentioned that, my previous employer was Pine Biotech, and Pine Biotech had this a cool product that they were working on. So they wanted to deliver bioinformatics to all the non-bioinformaticians, like, just because, like how I mentioned that, bioinformatics is always taken as something that, you should know coding and you should be a programmer and stuff like that. So they were developing their own product so that they could deliver that bioinformatics piece of science to a non-bioinformatician. So I was the primary bioinformatician over there, who used to work with different universities on their projects to do the analysis. And then on the other hand, I used to work with their development team to develop the modules that could help the non-bioinformatician student to understand what bioinformatics is actually and what the bioinformatician does. So that was my journey with Pine Biotech. And I remember that I did had a chance to come to JP University again to introduce the Pine platform and like how exactly you could do the things. So definitely that was my journey, and it was great because I got a chance to know, like, what opportunities out there are in US and in India for the bioinformatician. So definitely that was a great experience for me. And talking about the opportunities out here in US, I mean, no offense, but because of the immigration policies and stuff like that, there have been, like, a lot of scrutinies that are there for the international students and for the students who are trying to apply directly from India. Definitely, like, there have been like a lot of changes the rules and stuff like that. So I'm not saying that, there are like no opportunities. There are definitely opportunities, but those have reduced a lot. So if really you want to work and get an exposure for a company in US, so the best way is to reach out to the research labs, because there are like a lot of professors, there are like a lot of mentors who actually have a need of workforce of people who can help and assist them in their projects. So I know that there's a friend of mine, she's from Chennai, and then she had a chance to work on a project that was going on at University of Nebraska Lincoln. So she made the contact directly to the professor. She used to email the professors, and then like, they had the video chat, and then they had their own interview rounds and everything, and then they started to work remotely from India, and then the professor was over here in Lincoln, and then they started working on the project together. So research labs are definitely out there to whom you can reach and start working and exploring the research side. For the industries, definitely there are some industries who might give an opportunity, but I would say that, they are like way too less just because of the current situations. So yeah.
Okay.
Syal sir, would you like to ask something, sir?
Thank you, Sahil, for your wonderful talk. And I'm so thankful to you that previously you actually connected us to your school back in Lucknow. So that was great effort from your side. Thank you so much. And I'm very sure that whenever you will come back home, please do visit again JUIT and let us have another set of talks with you. And I'm very happy to see you that you are doing now PhD and moving ahead in your life. Your way of thinking, perception, and experience, I'm sure it will be great for our students. Thank you for your
sir.
time.
Thanks a lot.
And I think so, any questions from the participants? I think so we covered most of the questions. But Sahil, my one inquisitiveness is still hanging on. I just want to know, Sahil, if you get a chance again to come back and do something again with JUIT, what would you like to do?
I would like to be a student of the first year,
Oh.
definitely. And I mean, I still remember each and every time that was spent at JUIT. I used to curse JUIT every time when I was in my first year. I was like, what is this? I mean, this is like, something out there in a town where you do not get to party, you do not get to go out, you do not get to meet the real people. But trust me, JUIT life is the best life. Starting from mess, I know that the menu is very monotonous, to the dhaba and everything that you do at JUIT, you're gonna miss, and I can give you that on like a stamp paper. I miss the JUIT life each and every day. So I
Okay.
would love
So
to be
students, listen carefully what he's saying.
That's
Don't
great,
curse
Sahil.
JUIT.
That we understand. That we understand. That's very beautiful expression, Sahil. We definitely cherish this part because I think so. You have crossed that phase, है ना? And students
Yeah.
are in that phase.
Yeah,
So they
yeah.
very well relate to you that okay, जब हमारे पास थाली में लड्डू होता है तो हमें गुलाब जामुन चाहिए, है ना?
Exactly.
फिर एक टाइम ऐसा आ जाता है कि लड्डू गुलाब जामुन बहुत कुछ पड़ा and then you would like to be on a diet, है ना?
Yeah.
And then one time is there you want to eat that raw laddu जो घर वाला लड्डू है वो चाहिए.
Exactly. Yeah. That's
So
the
I can
app
understand that,
comparison.
dear.
Yeah.
So I very well understand. But Sahil, I must appreciate you the way you convey your feelings, you convey the knowledge, you convey the reality which is existing with the present situation overseas, and you make our students very, very informative about all the things which is happening in the present scenario, and it will stay for the coming months, I think so, if you agree with me.
Yeah, no, definitely. I completely agree on that. Yeah. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, definitely it would be a pleasure that, if like this webinar series and this all of these things would really help to shape the future of our students, definitely, because I know that, and I could bet on that whatever JP does, and it's not because I'm a JP alumni or I'm a Synapse I was a Synapse coordinator, but trust me, each and every step that JUIT takes shapes your future. Because if I had a chance to come to US, it was because of the collaboration that was between JUIT and between University of Nebraska Omaha. So I got my first break and I got these knowledge and this exposure. So definitely JUIT does take a lot of pain and a lot of efforts to make sure that their students do well. And I mean really, I feel proud to be a JUIT, and I mean wherever I go, I say, yeah, I'm from JP University Shimla. I'm not from JP Noida. I'm not from JP Guna. I'm
Okay.
from JP University
Good.
Vatnaghat.
Yes.
So
That's
yeah.
great. That's great, Sahil. That's
And
great.
Sahil, definitely we are also having proud to have students like you,
Thank you.
a very
Yes.
sincere, dedicated, hardworking
Thank you.
student.
True, sir.
And you made our day actually today
Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
by
sir.
speaking
Yes.
such
Yes.
greatness.
Thank you.
My,
Thanks a
my
lot.
So I hope students will enjoy it. And I just want to mention students that this JUIT and Nebraska connection is really important for exploring opportunity in USA. So please explore it, as HOD sir told you many times. Please explore it and use it, because this is the first platform you can enter into US, and then you can explore the whole world.
It's very true,
That's
So
sir.
thank you very much, Sahil, once again.
Thank you. And I'm just sharing my email ID and my phone number on the chat. So if anyone like really wants to like reach out to me and ask any other questions, feel free to do that. Don't worry, I'm not gonna mind, I'm not gonna judge. Because I used to text my seniors a lot. Hello, ma'am, how do you do that and how do you manage that? So don't worry, feel free to reach out to me.
Good.
Okay, Sahil. So we'd like to give you a break now, and thank you for your time and
Thank you, ma'am.
your information. Fine. God bless you. You
Thank
keep
you.
growing like this and stay connected with JUIT, with our
Definitely.
students, and keep guiding them.
Definitely. Thank you, ma'am. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you,
Thank you.
Sahil.
Good night,
Thank
Vita.
you.
Good
Bye.
Thank you,
night.
everybody. Thank you,
Good
ma'am.
day.
Thank
Bye.
you, HOD sir, and all
Thank
the
you,
faculty
sir.
members.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you. Great
Thank you.
effort by the team. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Bye, sir.
Bye.